Hey everybody, welcome to Bible Tech. Today I'm making this video for a friend of mine who also does stuff on a computer somehow. He informed me that he only knew of one hotkey. I assume he's also including Control-C and Control-V for copying and pasting, but we really don't know. And I was just going to make this video just to answer him briefly and not share it with the world, but I'm like, wow, it actually took some time to set this up properly. I might as well just share it with the world as well. So today I'm going to show you some basic hotkeys that I use every day. I am by no means a massive hotkey user. I have a disability in my hand, so it actually prevents me from easily using some hotkeys. But I think everybody should know some of them. They are a vastly more efficient way of using a computer than using a mouse. And the keyboard came first. The mouse actually came fairly recently. And I would argue that touchscreens are better than mice in many ways, unless you're doing fine motor movements such as editing a picture or a video or an audio file, as my brother Noah Pence, his link is in the description below, often likes to do in FL Studio. So today I'm going to show you some just basic hotkeys that I use right now. Here we go. So right now I'm going to hit Windows key E. You can see that on the screen below me and on that little keyboard, and you can see I just opened a file browser with no additional steps. And I'm going to use the up and down keys to select what folder I want to go to. I can actually customize this so it opens straight up in a specific folder that I want to go to. So with an enter key I can actually go into that folder, and here's where things get a little interesting. I can actually start typing letters like that and it'll actually start highlighting the folders in the folder that I'm in. So I just hit the right arrow key. I could hit any up and down, left or right arrow key right now, and it would actually have started highlighting those folders. So I just hit the right arrow key because why not? And now I'm gonna type the word pictures. I'm actually just gonna type P because there's no other folders here in this folder that have a P in them. And it instantly selects the pictures folder, and I can hit enter. And I can actually keep doing stuff like this. So I can actually just see that save pictures folder. I can hop right to it with the letter S, hit enter again, and I'm in it. And you're like, well, okay, great. Now how do you get out of it? How do you actually manipulate files? We're getting there. So to go back or up the hierarchy list of folders, I could either do Alt back to go back to where I came from, or I could do Alt up to go up a directory. Because sometimes there are different things. Sometimes you came from a totally different directory and you'd want to use Alt back to go back to where you came from. In this case, Alt back and Alt up do the same thing. I'm going to do Alt up. It's just how I think. And it brings me up a directory. Now let's say I actually want to do something different with one of these pictures. Let's say, 11 dot, just one of these little avatars that someone made for me. I hit 1, it goes straight to that one. I'm going to hit the F2, and now I can rename it to avatar pointing. And hit enter, and now that file is renamed. So totally hands off, no mouse. You can actually see the mouse cursor resting on the side near the little picture of a mouse in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. There's no clicks going on, there's no movement going on. I'm simply not using it. So I've successfully opened up my file manager and navigated to a file, renamed the file, and did that all without using the mouse at all. And I want to do that as fast as possible. I went slow to explain things. I want to do that as fast as possible. I'm just going to do the exact same thing with a different file. And then I'm going to do it with the mouse as fast as I can. Now, some people are faster with the mouse than I am. Some people are faster with the keyboard than I am. But I just want to show the vast disparity of how long it takes to do basic file management. And if you're using more advanced software like FL Studio or Photoshop or Adobe After Effects or Kdenlive, really anything on your computer is going to take massively longer. without hotkeys, and that's just how things work. If you memorize these hotkeys, which are actually really easy once you do them 2 or 3 times, you can just go straight to the thing you want instead of having to aim at it, click the other thing, click the other thing. It's just massively faster. In fact, in GIMP, I just discovered a hotkey after using GIMP for probably almost 15 years that has changed my life, and I don't know how long this hotkey has been here, but it really bothers me. I didn't know about it. And what that hotkey is, we can discuss at some other time. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close this window again with the keyboard. So right now, here we go. I'm gonna open up the File Explorer, rename the picture, close it. Right, here we go. Done. Now I'm going to do it with the mouse. 3, 2, 1. Rename. See how much longer that took? At least it felt longer to me. I don't know. But yeah, it's just much more efficient when you know what you're doing. And then there's a lot of other things you can do with hotkeys. That's a very basic example. I mean, you can just do tons and tons and tons of stuff, especially when you start bringing a web browser into the mix here. You can do a lot of things. In fact, I'm going to show you one right now. I'm going to open up the web browser. Again, no mouse. I'm going to move this cursor over to the right. You stay there. And I'm going to open up the web browser. There it is. I'm going to open a new tab with Control T. I'm going to go to, let's see, what I hit E, B, and it automatically starts coming up in Brave and Chrome and whatever. I don't have to hit any other hotkeys to get there like you do in Firefox or Internet Explorer. And I hit Tab. And what Tab does is it allows me to search eBay straight from this address bar. I don't even have to hit enter to go to eBay first. I don't have to click the eBay search box. And I'm going to search for a ThinkPad T440. Help if I actually could type, right? And people without a disability like mine are going to go massively faster. My disability is degenerative, which means it gets continually worse and worse. And I used to be much, much faster at this. And, you know, this screen is a little small. I'm going to make it full screen. I'm going to do this again. No mouse. I'm going to hit the Windows key, and I'm going to hit the up arrow. And now it's full screen. And you're thinking, you know, I might want to compare a couple different things. Maybe I'll have a document to the side here, and I'm going to write down my findings for all the different ThinkPads that I'm looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and do that again. No mouse. Doing Windows key left. Puts it to half the screen size. Now if we count at the bottom of the screen, I have all of my favorite apps, and I can count from the left to the right, and I can open up any of these things on this bar with Windows key and a number. So the text editor I want to use is LibreOffice. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'm just telling you how far it is over. If you have your hotkeys set up and you figure out where you want your applications, you wouldn't actually have to count, obviously. It should be very intuitive. So I'm going to go ahead and open up LibreOffice. Hopefully I counted right. And that's Win9 then. And you can move things over, you know, however you want. There's LibreOffice. And it's starting. Not everybody has an mSATA drive. I certainly don't. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move that to the right side of the screen so I can still see the ThinkPad browser window. There it is. And I can start typing like this. And I can actually, there's a couple different ways that I could actually go back to the other window. Again, I haven't touched my mouse in this entire time. So I can hit Alt and Tab. And I just tabbed over to the ThinkPad window, and I can use the arrow keys to go up and down it. And if you get really good at it, you can even select the auctions, bid on them, whatever. You can do whatever you want without even a mouse and keyboard. But I don't typically use for web page navigation. It's totally doable, though. In fact, there are browser extensions to make every normal web page totally usable with just your keyboard, and it actually separates the pages out into a grid, and you can use hotkeys for them, and it's actually good for people with limited dexterity or no hands, really. Paraplegics use stuff like this. People who cannot interact with a computer with their hands, they're actually able to say, click this thing, click that thing, just with their mouth. It's been around for a long time. Alright, so I could do this and do that. Let's say I'm done with that tab. I'm going to do Control W. Done looking at ThinkPads. And as you can see, I'm doing a lot of stuff here. And there's a number of different things I can do, but I'm going to go ahead and go back to LibreOffice with Alt and Tab. And I'm going to go ahead and save this document with Control S. And ask me where I want to save it. And I can title it right here. Again, no mouse. My hand is just staying on the keyboard. Name this test document. And as you can notice here on the screen, it actually says save and cancel. And you'll notice that there's a little underline here, and you may wonder what that's for. And that's in a lot of different operating systems. Sometimes it'll actually only show up if you hold down the Alt key right to the left of your spacebar. In this case, in Windows, it actually shows it all the time in this particular application. But what that is, it's actually giving you a hint as to what the hotkey is to press those buttons. So if I want to jump straight to save, I can hold down Alt-S, and it saves the document. That's what those little underlined things are for. Again, this was just a basic tutorial. And if I tap the Windows key, I can also pull up that and go down my applications. And if Windows search was working today, then I'd be able to open any application just by typing its name like this. And unfortunately, Windows search is not working. As of about 2 or 3 hours ago, Windows released an update that totally made Windows search not work. And I can fix it, but I'm just going to wait for an update because Windows isn't my primary OS anyway. So I hope that this video has been helpful for some of you. Check out my website, bobble.tech, if you want to learn a bunch of other neat little tips and tricks. If you're looking to get into the IT field, I highly recommend it. I have huge amounts of resources there for IT professionals and IT students. Whether you're going to be a system administrator, a developer, penetration tester, there's just a ton of software and tips and tricks and communities and podcasts that I've assembled over the last 10-ish years. So I highly recommend checking out that website, bobble.tech. It's in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time.